some suggestions here on a Sonic Squeeze. Oh yeah, baby. And today it is James's choice. He's chosen to do Sufjan Stevens. Oh, and the album name is Illinois. Jazz hands. Yeah, so James was like, yo, you two ain't heard of this. Here's one for you.
You've never heard of U2?
What?
U2?
U2? I know U2, but I didn't know the album Illinois by Sufjan Stevens. I heard the name bandied around a few times.
Yeah, that's not
Mainly by James.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I suggested it.
And you know what? I've heard a few songs of this album, it turns out, when I listened for it.
Wow. I hope you heard all the songs when you listened.
Well, I've heard all of them now, yeah. Okay. Oh God. So I would say overall the album was full of relaxing and dreamy, well-crafted folk songs. You know, with a lot of style and personality. That's my good thing. I said a good thing.
I expected this to be a lot more guitar tracks. From what I've heard from James listening to him, it's a lot of sort of the sort of guitar, banjo, standard folk stuff. But there was a lot of sort of orchestral stuff on here. Lots of strings and woodwinds.
Yeah, I enjoyed my strings. I enjoyed my horn sections as well.
And some of those I liked really. It starts off.
If you know what I mean.
It starts off quite a lot with that. I don't have all the names written down here because they're ridiculous.
Oh, don't worry. I shortened like everything.
I was hoping you'd be able to read some out for us.
I numbered them. I straight numbered them.
You just straight numbered
I straight numbered them. I was like, these are too long. I'm just numbering them. The first track, I really like the piano and the woodwinds, and the second one was orchestral as well. Big woodwind trills, big horns.
Can I say with the first one, which I'm just calling Concerning the UFO for now because
Concerning
ridiculous.
the UFO sighting near Highland, Illinois.
No, it goes on further than that.
No, that's the first track.
Okay.
The next one I'm not gonna say.
I love the piano work on this. It sounds it's like very powerful and delicate, and it sets tone for the album as well. The vocal processing on his voice. It's very plain. It's quite heavily compressed, and it kind of leaves it sounding quite vulnerable and thin, which is a gripe later on in the production. I feel like I don't want to sound too much like Richard Nixon, but it sounds like he spends a lot of time at festivals, dropping acid with his wacky friends, wearing tie-dye t-shirts of love beads, and paint on his face.
Who? Sufjan.
Sufjan Stevens.
He's very gentle.
I know.
Socially anxious guy, I believe.
Yeah, it gets annoying after a while.
Oh, Jesus.
Some of these songs I was like, cheer up! For fuck's sake, cheer up, you moody bitch!
Some of these songs are happy.
Take a pill and be happy, god damn it!
Some of these songs are happy, but like, his voice is so kind of wishy-washy and vulnerable at times that I'm like, do me a flavour? Do me a flavour? But you know what?
Yeah.
I can really see the appeal of this artist and why so many people love him and rate him so highly. You know what? If it wasn't for me just not enjoying his vocal performances so much, I would rate it really highly.
There are points in this track that I do rate really highly.
Yeah,
but there are also points where
Do you mean album?
he just loses me. I did mean album.
Nice.
It's like, for me, the best songs in the album were Concerning the UFO,
Yep.
Jacksonville,
Yep.
Chicago,
Yep.
Casimir Pulaski Day. They Are Night Zombies. And those are the best tracks on the album, personally.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what? They had a lot of merit.
Do you want to give a rating out of 10 while you fucking gone all the way through this shit?
I thought these songs are just like quite mind-blowingly well written.
Do you know what I really liked a lot of on this album as well? The interludes. There are a lot of really nice interludes that were just
Random.
instrumental, just like strings, a little bit of orchestral stuff, just a thing. And I'm just like, that was awesome.
Yeah. And some of those interludes, like the amount of length they lasted for, the title lasted longer than the song.
Yeah.
You can read out the title of some of those interludes you know what I'm trying to say.
And some of these songs do end up being quite like progressive, like, and take a long time. Some of them can be really slowly progressive and have like huge bits of just strings and just go in. And I'm like,
So, let me
Get in, come on in.
open the
Welcome-
conversation.
welcome
here.
to the review, buddy.
Jesus, man. Right. So So,
You swore a pledge of allegiance to the band.
I wasn't reading it. I was glazed.
this is, I'm pretty sure. Hey!
Sorry, we're getting glazed over here.
This is 5th studio album
Yeah.
by Sufjan Stevens.
Yeah.
I recommended, no I didn't, I put Carrion Lowell as my number 2.
That's the most recent one, right?
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
his 7th album, as I put that as my number 2 for best albums of last
You
year.
did.
That album is very minimal in the instrumentation. It's very much him playing either a banjo, a guitar,
Which is a lot of the stuff I
mandolin,
think you've shown
etc.
us.
You know
especially
what?
me
That's the
before.
stuff I liked more on this album as well.
Look, I'm not done. So this album kicks off with just piano, with a little bit of wind and a little bit
Earth,
of
fire.
no. I'll just keep it there. It's very minimal at the start.
Yeah.
But then it kicks off straight away into the next track with a big orchestral sound. And what you may or may not know, I'm not sure, is that he is credited as being pretty much the person that recorded and played almost all of those instruments.
Interesting. That's cool.
And he does
Does
so
that carry
in
on for the
his-
whole album?
Yeah. There were quite a lot of features on here, but at the same time...
Seriously? Because I was going to say the album has quite a live feel. Like it was a band in a studio, like banging it out.
He did like the trumpets on some, all of the wind. I think he did that. He did all of the guitar work. He did the drums, loads of stuff. Like
Impressive.
pretty much every single instrument, and it was all done in his home studio.
Awesome. You know what I really liked about this album? I liked the kind of intimate, unpolished sound of it, and I wish more artists were like that, because when everything's like totally polished and finely produced, it sounds a little bit boring, a little lacking of personality. But this was full of personality, this album, and I really liked it for that.
And what's different about this is, compared to his other work, this is huge in terms of its scale. It's just a really grand album.
Okay.
It's got so many layers to it. It's a 1 hour, 15-minute long album. And it really touches on a lot of different stuff. So it's all based on Illinois as a state, and it's him writing about Illinois. Another one of his albums is called Michigan, where he is inspired to write stuff about Michigan, and he kind of jokingly said that he was going to write an album for every state in the US, but he knew immediately that's not actually going to happen. It was kind of a publicity stunt. But he did come back with Illinois a few years later, and it's got a lot of references to the state itself. For example, in Casimir Pulaski Day, he is referencing towards the end, he says, and a cardinal hit the window. This is a song about one of his friends that dies of bone cancer. And, I don't know, heavy stuff. And at the end, he said a cardinal hits the window. A cardinal being the bird, it's like the national bird, not national, the state bird or whatever of Illinois. And also is a bird that represents death. So his lyrics throughout the entire album are really in-depth and trying to be as relatable as possible to Illinois.
He said he wrote happy songs.
Yes, I did say that. Yes.
I thought that was that like that. That's the big single from the album, right? Casimir Pulaski Day.
No.
Or was it Chicago?
I think Chicago was the main
Yeah.
selling point, and still remains to be one of my favourite songs by
Yeah.
Sufjan
I thought
Stevens.
those two songs were like the best on the album.
That
probably.
one's uplifting to an extent.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the interesting thing you say about this album being his sort of biggest, though, like in terms of production and orchestral wise and having all this, because they were the bits I personally liked the most on this album. With
Okay.
a lot of the sort of bigger orchestral tracks, rather than a lot of the sort of just guitar and banjo stuff, I thought was good. I didn't think it was bad. Like the ones that were just guitar and stuff, I thought it was better than a lot of them. There was track 5, which is Jacksonville. I thought the
Jacksonville.
guitar and the
Yeah.
banjo at the start of that worked really well together.
Yes.
They played off each other really well, and I thought that was really
One
awesome.
of my absolute
Amazing.
favourite songs on
Yeah,
this
that was
album.
one of my favourite as well.
You know what? Me and you differ on that slightly. I preferred the more intimate,
yeah, you mentioned
kind of less instruments, less busy. It's kind of like a carnival sound sometimes of like all the things going on, and I preferred it when it was like like track number 1, piano, and beautiful, delicate singing. But yeah,
I'll tell you what, it was when you asked me to suggest an album, I was thinking it's either going to be this album or it's going to be the album from last year. And I personally felt as though this album, for me, was going to be the one that kind of appealed to both of you. I thought if I chose the Carrie and Lowell, Gareth wouldn't like it as much.
Okay.
I have listened to that album as well, and I didn't like as much as this.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you're right.
Exactly. I personally feel as though this is a better album than Carrie and Lowell, but I do rate both of them incredibly highly, and I give them the same rating.
Okay. So I read out my list of favourite songs then. Would you agree with those songs?
Yes, most of them, yes. I would also add in a few others.
Okay.
So, for me, one of my absolute favourites is
John
the opening
Wayne.
track.
Okay.
No. The opening track. I
Yeah.
love it. It sets a mood for the album, but then it's so completely different to what's on the album. It's really crazy. I love it. Feel the Illinoise. That for me is the track where if you want to get one track which encapsulates everything on the album, it's Feel the Illinoise. Jacksonville, same reason. Fantastic track. String work on that is incredible.
Definitely.
Decatur. I like that just because of the vocals that play off each other towards the end. I love it.
Okay. Well, let's hear some from Gareth.
Hey, I'm not even done.
I know, but you always read out the
Okay,
whole album when we say
okay.
favourite songs in the album.
You're right. In the first, I pretty much love all of the first 10 songs. But let's just go through.
Oh my god, he was going to read all of them out.
Track 1 concerning whatever. I'm not going to read through the whole name. Track 3, Feel the Illinoise. Track 5, Jacksonville. Track 7, Decatur. Track 9, Chicago. Big track. Track 10, Casimir Pulaski Day. Then track 13, Prairie Fire. I actually really enjoyed that one. That was really cool. They Are Night Zombies, which you mentioned, track 16. And also track 20, The Tallest Man.
So Kit said you're taking too long, and so you decided to read them all out.
Oh, yeah. Just thought I'd start again, you know?
Well,
Gareth, favourite tracks.
I agree with Kit. I really like Sending UFO, The Black Hawk War, and Jacksonville. Specifically, the ones I mentioned as my favourite were Jacksonville, and I'm going to read them out in full because I didn't write any of the others out in full. The predatory wasp of the Palisades is out to get us, and they are night zombies. They are neighbours. And then I couldn't write the rest because my Spotify window ran out. I full screened it and it still wasn't long enough. So it's just They Hurt and then some.
Does that carry on in his other albums? Does he do that kind of name writing?
No.
Good.
I think on Michigan they're slightly longer than his other albums, but they're nowhere
not
near as
this
long as this one.
Why do you think he chose to do that? Was he like, well, who says album names have to be this short? I could write an essay,
You'd have to ask him. I personally wouldn't be able to answer that.
Okay. Cool.
I think you explained it best, actually. When I first told you about this, I think you said he just sounds like the kind of guy that wants to kind of just have fun with it.
Did I say that?
Yeah.
Oh.
You said, it's obnoxious, but I kind of get away with it because he sounds like the guy that's just doing it for a laugh.
Okay.
We did talk about this last week in between the squeeze time.
Did we? I thought we did it on the sofa at home.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the sofa times. We were drunk. It was a good time. Anywho, let's get around to some out of 10s, baby girl.
It's good you said that. I was about to Twitter, Facebook, YouTube.
Ooh, no. You gotta
Almost
holster
fired
that
off too
pistol, my
early.
lad.
Gareth.
You're always coming too soon. Gareth, out of 10.
I'm very on the verge here.
Oh, sorry.
Not only on the verge, but very on
say
the verge.
strong 8.
Strong 8. Ooh.
I liked it a lot. As I was saying, strong 8. Kit.
Oh, yeah. This is totally the same video.
The camera code didn't crash and we had to restart.
You gave it 8, right?
8, yeah, strong 8.
And what album was it?
Sufjan Stevens.
Souffle Sivan.
I'm going to give this one an 8.
That's interesting. I haven't heard that before. It's
Yes.
come from your mouth, said by you today at this very time in this very location.
I don't know
James,
what I'm going to give this album.
I don't know either.
What did Past you say?
I think I said 10.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
you did, because you said a whole thing about you've never given 2, you only give 2 of his albums a 10, and this is also one of them.
This is one of those, and also Carrie and Lowell.
Well, this has
you're going
been-
to say that again?
Carrie and Lowell.
Oh, okay.
Well, this has been
Carrie and Lowell.
well, this has
Carrie
been
and
very
Lowell.
informative and enlightening. You know what, guys?
Twitter, Facebook, YouTube.
That's a thing. Also, you should subscribe to our YouTube channel if you so felt like it, because we're
the YouTube.
professionals here.
Twitter, Facebook, YouTube.
Yes, but you don't say subscribe.
Yeah, but you should.
Yes, but people won't know what...
Are you calling them thick?
I would never call our fans thick.
You're an arsehole.
This went awry.